Hi, guys. Exciting news for season 4. The Thrive Tribe newsletter is for everyone and it's free.
To sign up for our newsletter and to get more out of Chasing Brighter and engage with our amazing community, go to chasingbrighter.com/newsletter to get the latest updates.
And every month we have freebies, so check it out.
Welcome to the Chasing Brighter podcast, the podcast created as a guide to make midlife the best life.
Are you ready to embrace the next chapter of your life with confidence and excitement? Your best life is just a listen away. Hi, Kelly. How are you doing today?
I'm good, Jess. How are you doing?
I'm good. I have a little bit of a cold, and so I stopped by Starbucks, which I don't really go to Starbucks very often, but I think we've had this talk before. Anyways, I was driving from Pilates and I didn't plan for my day and I was like, I need food. And my son Dominic has eaten every single protein bar, every single beef stick, anything with protein in the entire house. And my stomach hurts a little bit and I didn't want to get like string cheese or something. And so I think Starbucks has really great options like for a drive-through, like I can get egg bites or whatever. And so I got oatmeal. Oatmeal's a great source of protein. And so I got some oatmeal because I'm not feeling that great. And I got some mint tea because I'm not feeling great. And so I'm sipping mint tea. And sometimes you can feel a cold or something creeping up, but this one just hit me. I just woke up and don't feel very good. And since I've had children, I don't know if this happened to you, I have a very sensitive gag reflex. And so I feel like in the back of my throat, do you call that congestion? Phlegm,
like
mucus. And so I just feel super nauseous because I feel like there's something in the back of my throat. So I don't know if oatmeal was a good choice consistency wise, but I was just trying to eat like something clean, something that just was a better choice. So you can get blueberries in it too.
No, I agree. I don't eat oatmeal as much as I should, but I did recently buy muesli, which is a variation of oatmeal. Yes, it's gluten-free, and it's a mix of essentially what you're saying you get with Starbucks, which is oatmeal, nuts, and blueberries. I love the Starbucks oatmeal.
Is it like a cereal?
Yes, you can put it with milk or you can put it with water and cook it as oatmeal. Bought it as a way to, you just let it sit for like a minute. But I thought I would mix it up from using granola. You can also put yogurt with it. I don't know. I'm going to try it and see how it works. But
yeah.
Speaking of not feeling well, I have been having trouble with, I think this is also like a perimenopausal thing with alcohol, meaning like in the last or like in recent times, if I don't feel like I'm consuming a lot of alcohol, but it hits me harder. And I just don't feel good for days afterwards.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of working through that. So I did overindulge last week. I did not tell you this. This is the craziest. I think this is a crazy story. I haven't really told any of my friends about it, but we went to this gathering for like the investment company it was like a customer appreciation event, and it was at a really nice restaurant in the city. And we didn't really know anybody except for our investment guy who actually lives in South Bend. So he
you and Brian?
Brian and I came into town. We did this last year, and our investment guy was not able to make it. And so we didn't really know anybody. And it's like assigned seating, and we get put by this couple who live in the suburbs. It was fine. It was interesting, and we had a decent time because it's always at a nice restaurant. But this year, we got put with somebody else, and we didn't really know anybody. And it was time for everybody to have a big happy hour, and then it's time for everybody to take their seat. And we go to our table, and our investment guy, Brian, is there. It's Brian and Kelly, too, which is kind of funny, the investment guy and his wife. He went to Notre Dame. Like, we ran into him here and there, whatever. He was like, oh, I want you guys to meet Dennis and Katie. And Katie looks at me, and she was like, wait, what is your maiden name? And I was like, oh, my God, Katie. Katie was my freshman year roommate's best friend. And I don't know if you remember this, but my freshman year at Notre Dame, it was hard for me. I was at the
Michelle's best friend?
No. Aaron, my freshman year roommate, Aaron. So like my freshman year, I was on the 4th floor of a 4-story building on the very corner last dorm room. And across the hall from us was this huge storage thing. So like I had one neighbor just next door. I didn't know anybody else. And that next door neighbor was an upperclassman. And I don't know a soul. And I'm totally like country bumpkin out of water at Notre Dame. My roommate's best friend goes to Notre Dame too. And then my roommate's best friend's childhood best friend also happens to end up at Notre Dame. So they're instantly like this 3-person clique. And I kind of followed him around, but I felt like such a loser because I had a bit of an ego and I just didn't vibe with them. They were like, you know, kind of like a little bit more upper middle class than my background. And I just felt very out of water with them. And I was kind of going through my own journey. And I ran into them over the years. We all kind of like were friends with the same groups of boys and in and out, but I never really talked to her that much. And we ended up sitting together at this table at the dinner. And we had the best time. It was so fun.
And she's in
hanging out with her.
Chicago.
She lives like 6 blocks from me. Her kids are around my kids' ages.
Crazy.
Her husband lived in Soren. So we knew like similar friends. And so it was a person that I probably really had not had a conversation with in like 28 years. And so it was just really cool. It was really fun. And it brought back just a lot of memories of the fact that like I didn't not like my roommate and her friends. We just ended up kind of being different vibes, right? And we had different journeys. And I stayed in that dorm and my roommate transferred out to where Katie was. So it was super fun, but I ended up drinking a lot of sake that night. And it was like wine, whatever
That's
the
grain,
sake we were
though,
drinking.
right? Is the sake made from a grain?
Probably. I felt absolutely horrible the next day. Like I had to cancel conference calls because I felt so bad. And that's not normally what happens. And then fast forward to like Saturday night, we went out to dinner at a Mexican restaurant and I had a couple margaritas. And again, I just got really I just had 2 margaritas, so I wasn't like hungover per se, but I was actually feeling really sick that night. Yeah. It's weird. I don't know if that's like a symptom of something.
I've told you personally, I am obsessed with the actress and comedian Leanne Morgan, and I was obsessed with her. And then she has the Netflix show Leanne, and she's so funny. And she was on a podcast, and she was talking to the woman in midlife, and she said that Brookstone, you know the Brookstone candies, like they're chocolate covered fruits. If you know, they're like chocolate covered blueberries. She was like, Brookstone, right when she hit perimenopause, she goes, the blueberries came out. I hit perimenopause and it was a perfect storm. And she was like, whatever you do, don't eat chocolate, don't drink alcohol. She was like, I did all of this stuff. And like, because I think a lot of women experience like maybe they do well maintaining their weight their whole life, and then perimenopause comes and it's like, oh my God, you just put on weight. And so she was like making me laugh about it. She was like, don't drink, don't do anything. And I don't know if that's what's happening for you, because if our metabolism is changing, like maybe the way that you metabolize alcohol 100%. Is changing.
How I'm like breaking it down. Yes.
Yeah. And we've talked about before as well, because that's a rice alcohol, like those are grains, and maybe grains aren't, you know, because what's tequila? No, tequila's made from agave?
But there's
no
different
not all tequilas
types of
are gluten-free.
Tequila. So I think that's a good point. I might like experiment with that a little bit. I've kind of lightened up drinking beer. I do like beer, but I've started to be, I'm really selective on what kinds of beer I drink. But I've really tried
like
to stay,
vodka and a wine. I could do tequila.
I've stayed close to like sparkling wine is like really what I feel like serves me well, like a low sugar sparkling wine. I do love red wine and I look forward to times when I drink it. I don't drink it nearly as often as I used to. I love it. I just know it's not the best. It bothers me as well.
Like causing inflammation.
Yeah.
I had a glass of red wine last night. My husband drinks a lot of red wine, and I don't say a lot. Let's say he has a glass a night or something, so he'll pour me a glass sometimes, and sometimes I feel like it, and sometimes I don't. And he gets mad because I just want a sip of his. Just like I want 2 sips. I don't want a glass. I was just like, just have 2 sips of yours. But he likes red wine a lot. But I don't really drink very much. I don't know. I'm just like,
I'm
And
not
also
either.
we've had Angel Uribe on the podcast,
Yeah.
the alcohol moderation coach, and just like if you're stressed, that impacts your sleep, and then you don't sleep well, and you're more stressed. And so for me, being stressed, I don't want anything to impact my sleep. Like I'm not sleeping that great right now, and so it's like I don't want anything to bother my sleep.
Yeah, that's a great point for sure. And even your conversation with Tony Will, and even just her talking about different tactics
Yes.
of handling those habits. So I think those are great. Some of those podcast episodes we have are really great ones to listen to just as a refresher on kind of moderation and being more intentional and mindful
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
what we're doing. And I think that is one thing that maybe the two instances, or actually the one instance in particular, where I wasn't drinking any water in between and just really being more like I was just consuming a liquid, which happened to be alcohol,
Yeah.
instead of really being more mindful about what is it that I'm drinking. So
Yeah.
anyway, it was such a fun,
Yeah. That's so
crazy moment
crazy.
to have connected with her. And I kept joking. I was like, you guys are our new best friends. We're going to get together again.
Yeah.
Just to keep the connection. So that's fun. I mean, new connections are always fun, when you kind of meet somebody and get to know them and you really hit it off. I was actually just out walking with one of my neighbors and we were talking about, so she's got babies. She has like a newborn. He's like 6 weeks old and she has like a 3-year-old. About like, it's hard to like put ourselves out there sometimes in meeting new people, but it's fun. It's fun when you have the connections.
Yeah. I think I read this article and I maybe talked about it before, but I read this article from Parent Magazine in like 2010, 2011. And it said that you think that your children's friends are your best friends, but they're only your friends because they're friends with your children. And like the author, whatever, the person that wrote the article had teenagers and they were like, my kids became teenagers and they don't have the same friendships. And all of those parents that I thought I was friends with, I've lost those friendships as well. So I think that's very interesting. And I think that our kids, as they become teenagers or they go to different high schools or they go somewhere different, their friendships begin to change. And so it's like what you're talking about too, then maybe your friendship, like, our children, as they become teens, they become more independent and they start going to things without you. You're not accompanying the play date. You're not seeing those parents all the time. So I think our friendships shift as well. And so I think it's always good to be on the lookout, maybe for a friend that you meet on your own that isn't associated with the parent group. Does that make sense?
I think my challenge on that is really finding, because it shifted so much, we do not have, we have fewer and fewer friends that our kids are also friends. Because yes, with high school, friendships really do change. And
Yeah.
there's just everyone kind of, I describe it to Wes where I'm like, you just have a different vibe. Everyone has a different, like, maybe a
Yeah.
different set of values, different like goals and priorities. And
Yeah.
you kind of align. I think in high school, you kind of start to align friendships and relationships with more kind of what you're, I'm just going to say values. But I mean,
Yeah.
a teenager doesn't know values. A teenager is more like what I like to do or sort of thing. And so it is just interesting. Wes was saying like there's like one of his friends he grew up with, he's been friends with since he was 3. They're finally in class together this year. I was like, oh, are you guys talking? And he was like, well, he knows, like we know who each other are and we have like, I don't know, somehow they interacted in class, but he was like, but he hangs out with the popular kids. And
Okay.
he's like, he's more popular and he hangs out with the popular kids. And I was like, what does that
Yeah.
mean? And he was like, oh, the kids, what did he say? I don't know if he knew how to describe it, but he was like, oh, the kids who are kind of like, what did he say? Like arrogant, or they just are like all very like full of themselves, or what he said, some stuff that's like, they like to be the center of attention or whatever the things are. I don't remember the specifics,
Yeah.
but I thought it was an interesting observation because then I was like, well, it didn't seem to bother him that he wasn't in that crowd,
Yeah.
but just observe that there's different groups. So
Yeah. Well, and I think too, I don't think I'm fickle with friendships, but I think like for my eldest, it's similar. Like who you're with all the time is who ends up being your friends,
I think
And
that too.
so
I totally
depending on
agree. I totally
season,
agree.
so like when she's in high school season and her club ball's dark, she might be hanging out with high school friends more. And then, it just kind of all depends. And so one of the things that she talked about, like she's so excited for college. I don't know if I had talked about this, but like all of her close friends all go to the same high school. And those are all the girls that play on her club ball team. And so she has two good friends at high school, but they don't see each other. They all have different classes. They've all had different schedules this whole time. And so one of the things she's really, really excited about, we're talking like why is she excited to go to college is because like you will have a roommate. You will have things to do. She'll have a team. They're already on a text loop. Like she's really looking forward to being able to be around friends all the time and have access to them because our city is so spread out. Like she can't see her friends very often. Am I making sense? Like,
Yeah.
and now she's
Yeah.
online class this year. And so she does go to practice and she does see her friends, but they're like 50 minutes away. So it's like logistics, you just don't get to see them every day. She doesn't get it. And so she's excited to be around people and do things all the time. And I think that will be great going to a small school because they're always, having a lot of events and stuff that isn't as intimidating. Like I was asking Justin, do you remember college and going to mixers or I don't know, like your freshman year, like not knowing anybody and going to things and meeting people? Did you meet people that way? Or how did you end up meeting everybody?
I met everybody because, I mean, the thing that was, I think, nice about Notre Dame is, and I don't know what other schools, that because they don't have Greek life, you sort of basically start what is defined as Greek life your freshman year because you get put into a dorm and those end up being your people. And, some people do transfer around, but those who really, that's the thing I think I liked about Notre Dame was you kind of have to, your people are the people in your dorm. I think for me, my experience was not good early on because here I had this roommate who already had a best friend and they were like all instant friends. And like,
Yeah.
so they weren't interested, for lack of a better word, in getting to know me or like bringing me into their
Right.
fold.
Right.
They weren't like
Right.
excluding me, but
Yeah, but
I
they
wasn't
had
at
their
the
own.
same pace, where
Yeah.
you like if you go somewhere and it's like you end up having a roommate and like neither of you know anybody, you just kind of like cling to each other.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
And I
that's why
didn't
I
get
hang out with my
that.
roommate all the time. And then you just get to know people and then you end up, whatever it is. But I know like that will happen for Gabby, like, and she's going to have a team, right? You're on a small campus, you're going to have a team. You have practice every day. If you see someone all the time that you like, you can see them all the time because it's a small school. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well,
it's very different. So she's excited.
I think, I think you can get that. I could probably get that at any college size, depending
Hmm.
on, it's like we live in a big city and it's still a
Right.
small community. So it's sort of like just finding schools that support, that's important to her.
Well, I mean, I hear you, but like, think about this. What's the dorm at Notre Dame that's on the other side of that lake? What was it called?
Carol,
Was it Carroll?
Carol and,
And
yeah,
what was the other one? It's another one.
St. Ed's, right?
So at Notre Dame, there were two dorms, like way on the other side of campus, and they had their own culture. Like you were not going to like
Yes.
walk to St. Ed's. And so some colleges are split up in a city, or some colleges people have a lot of commuters. You know what I mean? So I think it kind of varies on the campus as well too. But
Yes, I
anyway,
agree.
so
I don't know if it was St. Ed's. I mean, I definitely was Carol. That was really far away.
to like summarize this piece of the conversation is just like, I think that we can always be open to meeting new people, right? Because you never know if you click with someone. And so I think it is worth maintaining that. And I think we've had episodes finding friends. And so like with this new friend, Katie, how do you strike when the iron's hot? Get their email, get their phone number, find them on Instagram, message and say it was great to see you, and like strike when the iron's hot to maintain those connections,
You have to put in the effort. I agree. You have to put in the effort.
Yeah.
By
Yeah.
the way, side note, sorry, I know we're trying to wrap that conversation up, but the craziest thing was she had said to me, she was like, 2 days ago, Facebook recommended I connect with you as a friend.
Wow.
And she was like, I thought it was so out of the blue and so crazy. And she screenshot the connection recommendation and she sent it to her friend Erin to say, wasn't this your college roommate? Like, it was just this crazy thing. Well, and actually, interestingly enough, my roommate Erin's daughter is a sophomore at Notre Dame, which is crazy. Like, her oldest is there.
Yeah.
Anyway, I run into her once in a great while, but I certainly don't keep in touch. But I agree. I think it's being open to new friendships and just kind of seeing where they go. And I find for myself, I'm excited when I first meet people and get to know them. And that's really fun. I enjoy that. And then eventually I kind of get to this point where maybe you get to know them a little bit closer, and then you start to see maybe some values are different. And some people you continue to maintain a friendship with, and sometimes they just kind of like fade, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think
Anyway.
it doesn't mean it's gone forever. I think friendships ebb and flow. And that's why I think it's great to always be on the lookout when you find someone like, someone wasn't your vibe 25 years ago. A lot has changed. So maybe,
100%.
it's totally different too. So no, I think, we've talked about in so many episodes, friendships and relationships, healthy relationships are the key to happiness. So hopefully this conversation sparked your interest and looking out for friendships and maintaining good connections that you already have.
Yes. Thanks for listening today.
If you loved today's episode, share with a friend.
Are you ready to chase brighter days ahead? Subscribe to Chasing Brighter now, and let's embark on this exciting journey together.